What's good, everybody? It's Casper. Today's video, we're on episode 8 of Tulsa King, so let's get straight to it. 8th episode of Tulsa King is called Adobe Walls. It's directed by Kerrigan, and the writers for this episode are Terrence and Tom Sierchio. We start off with, I would say, like a junkyard train track area. They're practicing on how to shoot a gun. Dwight and Mitch are helping the whole gang out. Bodie's workers and other people are there as well, so a team is being assembled on how to shoot a gun. The whole camera direction on showing the whole place looked really cool, and then we get more into detail when the characters having their screen time, and in that part we see Grace get involved with Dwight. Grace has her little lines in there which are actually really good, and the character who plays Grace is McKenna Harrington, so her acting in that moment where she's like confused on why they're even there, very good. Waltrip is now face to face with Stacy, and Stacy is confronting him on what happened to Roxy. More of good acting on him playing a grimy mafia bad villain character is presented with Waltrip right there. So we see moments of that interaction, and then another interaction with Dwight at the bar with Bodie, Jimmy, discussing this casino, and the writing and the game plan, well done. It all felt like they were ready to just get this done, so good presentation right there. That scene, the way they ended it, flowed very well. I really like how Dwight brought back another moment from another episode and told Jimmy if he brought the apricot jelly. So the fact that the apricot jelly is still thought about, and he introduces that to Mitch, so that was pretty funny as well, because now Mitch is gonna get a taste of that. Very funny. So a little side thing right there, which I thought it was funny. The character who is part of the Mafia family named Johnny, and Johnny is there at the funeral where Chicky has every one of the Mafia family leaders huddled around, I guess a little meeting. Chicky is basically talking to everyone and everyone's on the same page, but Johnny is very confused on why Chicky is announcing that they want to take out Dwight. That was crazy to see that someone part of that family is confused on why that's happening. Goody was right there as well. Goody wasn't involved too much in that scene, so let's see how that plays out. Cool to see more Tyson get involved in this episode. Even though he's part of Dwight's crew, he feels like a lot of the information that's being, or a lot of the events that's happening, is not being reported to him. So we see a cool moment with Dwight letting them know like there's reasons for this, and the development, and seeing that Tyson is now more fiending of wanting to have a bigger role. You could see that in Tyson, so cool growth right there. Another cool moment as well is we see again Tyson's dad in here. We now are seeing Tyson have more of a direction on what he wants to do, but if this is the last time we see Tyson's dad in this TV show, I'll say shout out to him, because he was a great actor, and him being involved and his screen time was definitely worth it, and it definitely added to this episode or this whole series. Every time that Stacy hears more information on Dwight, you could see that nervousness, and you could see it grow every time. So it's not repetitive, and it's exciting, and it's funny, because you know that whatever she's doing is on the low, and the writing and acting for her to present that flows very well with each presentation of that. Side characters to help the main characters out. We see another scene in here where Mitch introduces to Dwight some of the people that Mitch thinks that could be part of this team. So that was a cool interaction, and it's dope setting. Really like how they choose cool settings, and shout out to that scene. That scene was pretty funny as well. So with the development of Stacy just trying to get the main focus of Waltrip, aka the biker gang boss, captured, she ends up doing some sort of raid at the bar. So she ends up coming up on the computer which had valuable information, basically accounts on money of what the biker gang boss has. When that happens, we shoot over to the biker gang boss, knowing that got raided. See that, and then we see how nervous he gets and how pissed off he gets as well. So we see more of his retaliation on him, and also we see more of how the ATF is is affecting him and how the FBI is bothering him as well. So we see how bothered he is now. And the biker gang boss tries to use the corrupt cops, but the corrupt cops as well try to do as much as they can. But Dwight in this episode knows what to do. When the corrupt cops try to pull them over with Tyson, Dwight is not playing. Dwight, with no nervousness shown at all, straight boss mafia look, like just leave us alone. That scene was crazy. Only so much that these corrupt cops can do, because if they push the limit, you know, Dwight's not playing. When the corrupt cops have to report back to Waltrip, very crazy interaction in the sense of, like, you can see that Waltrip is very pissed and Waltrip feels like they're not doing their corrupt job, while the corrupt cop is kind of has a nervous look. We're seeing real feelings of people being in crazy scenarios. Another moment we see in here is we see the ranch boss's husband, ex-husband, show up, and there was a very crazy interaction between Dwight and the ex-husband. The ex-husband is actually an asshole, and Dwight is very smooth with his comeback talk. So that was crazy that we end up seeing the ranch boss's ex-husband, but I'll say added to it very well. The lines for the therapist are hilarious because he's asking questions to get real answers, but Stacy, she feels very uncomfortable because the therapist is asking a lot of personal questions. So you see more of Stacy, another scene of with Stacy with the therapist again. It's gonna be very crazy to see how Dwight ends up meeting with Chicky, because Chicky wants to make amends, but Chicky, being his suspect, two-faced self, corrupt self, he wants to make amends, but on some real fake actor stuff. He ends up calling Dwight. The acting portrayed in there was done well, and let's see how that plays out. Whenever Dwight, Chicky, or Armand was presented and had their own scene, you can tell that they were part of that mafia family. You know, we see Armand with another moment in this episode talk to his wife. The way Armand talks and the line direction on how he presents that, you could tell and have a real good feel that they were leaders or were involved with the mafia family in the past and still have that characteristics later. So whenever, obviously Dwight is still has that whole mafia status, mafia lifestyle, whenever Armand is talking to his wife, Armand tries to play like that husband role, but Armand, underneath that mafia tone and everything, comes out. And then with Chicky, obviously Chicky just wanted to be leader, so whenever Chicky is on the screen, you can tell that he just wants to be the boss. He already has that greediness and just wants to be the Don. You see those characteristics, which is cool. The soundtrack and music for this episode was good. It was placed very well. The final scene when Stacy and Dwight are talking with each other, how they ended it, well done. I would say it felt like a movie right there. How did that all just play out right there? That was crazy. Stacy's just telling Dwight, we raided Waltrip, but we didn't find him, so wherever he's doing, just let him do him. And Stacy wants Dwight to just live his life. But out of nowhere, we see the biker gang boss, Waltrip, and another person he brought with him shoot at them and shoot Stacy. So how that ended, crazy, absolutely insane. The look on Dwight's face was crazy. 10 out of 10, absolutely, right there. That's my rating for that episode, was a 10 out of 10. That was crazy how they ended it. And I was like, yo, mad chills. This whole series and this whole TV show does that. One more episode to go. Let's see how they end it. Very insane. So shout out to everyone involved to this episode. Well done. Well done. So that's my review for the 8th episode of Tulsa King. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.